When Lucy Slash came over to our house for a sleepover for the first time, I'm pretty sure she expected me to be the most boring guy of all time. Because she brought a massive suitcase full of Monster High dolls, she probably expected to spend more time with than me. However, when she realized this goober had way too many Littlest Pet Shop stuffed animals, I think she realized she was going to be okay. The Trouble Chronicles are a lot of movies about 3 children sitting in their basement playing with toys. Usually they eat Pringles, make toys fall in love, and make really, really boring movies. Thankfully though, yours truly has no life, and so the first 2 of these movies, VIP Trouble and Lollipop Trouble, have been edited down to the good parts. Or that's what I would say if VIP Trouble and Lollipop Trouble weren't literally 6 hours and 40 minutes of the most boring videos known to man. I gave it my all, I promise you, but combined with limited time and non-existent quality, this part of ADBITN is more so a general overview and explanation of what the Trouble Chronicles is, rather than me actually showing you it. Because it's really, really long, really, really important, and soul-rending as sin. VIP Trouble was our first movie we made in 2012, and it was about Vippy, the queen slash goddess slash mayor slash president slash just a rabbit of VIP City, the home of the VIPs, being captured by Barry, an evil bear who is evil for no reason that I can recall. Before VIP Trouble begins, 2 new VIPs have been added to the crew, Donald the dog and Lasty the penguin. And during the course of the film, one of Lucy's Monster High dolls turned into a human VIP hybrid, canonically known as Viprids, although it doesn't really matter, known as Lollipop, whose personality consists of having my normal speaking voice even though she's a girl, and literally nothing else. The non-canonical VIP Trouble 2 came next. I never intended on including it in the collection to begin with because A, it was never finished, and B, it's non-canonical to the rest of the series. But there is a good part about it, and that's whenever we said Vippy Cake, a lot. I didn't know we were actually gonna play the clip. I didn't know that was in the cards. Cool, that's good. And every time we would say Vippy Cake, every time we would say those 2 words, that clip would play. And Cooter the horse would always get irritated with us whenever we would say Vippy Cake, and he would say, "You just said it again!" Oh no, you're right, I did say it! Vippy Cake! And 3 years later, 2015 rolls around and Lollipop Trouble is here, the second movie I intended on having in this collection. It was called as such because the concept was that we added Taffy, Lollipop's long-lost sister, and that was supposed to be the crux of the story. But then it turned out that Vippy had a second demonic personality, and then the entire movie switched gears to focus on that. Something you'd notice looking at the entire series as a whole is that every single name, more often than not, ends up having absolutely nothing to do with the actual story. VIP Trouble ended up being mostly about Lollipop, and Lollipop Trouble ended up being mostly about Vippy. We made a lot of VIP movies over the years and garnered many great phrases such as fudge niblets, because movie logic, polka dot, but when you get down to the core of it all, the only 2 things that matter for this series and the entire rest of the collection is this nerd and this jerk. This is Pink Lemonade, Time Master, North Lights of the Dr. Doc Brown, Connie Rodek. That has been on my mousepad since mid-2017. She's a British time traveler, and I stole that from absolutely nothing. BBC, please don't sue me. And James the Butterfly began as the new guy in the original series, said, "Oh, that hurt a lot," around 6,000 times in VIP Trouble, and then fast forward to a while later, and he existential crisis so hard that he became a completely different character entirely. He gained knowledge of the 4th wall, which for people who don't know, gaining knowledge of the fourth wall is the character realizing that they're in a story. The fourth wall is basically the screen that separates you from the world within it. And James realized that was there. Here's a hint, you'll want to remember about this fourth wall stuff because I love breaking the fourth wall and I do it 400 times too many. Gaining this knowledge, James's power stats went through the roof and his lack of depression went even though these are the only two things that really end up mattering later, the Trouble Chronicles is still really important to me. Yes, we do have this many discs of really boring movies, but they were fun to make, and that was what was good about them. I'm kind of bummed I can't have them in the collection because of how boring they are, but honestly, that's a pretty decent representation of what they are. Boring to watch, fun to make. And it's really important to me because it's most of the connection I've had with Lucy. I've made some stories with my cousins Shelby and Camry, but I was the driving force in 100% of it, and pretty early on, both of them decided they didn't care anymore, and it's fine that they didn't care anymore. That just wasn't their thing. They didn't want to do that with me, so we just switched gears and then played 71 episodes of Rayman Legends. Oops. But with Lucy, the big interactions that Natalie and I have with her are because of these VIP movies, and maybe they're not good. Why'd I say maybe? They aren't. I tried editing them, they're not good. But it was fun, and it was important to our relationship, and we really cherished these characters. Even as much as, you know, I abused this one. Sorry. Speaking of abusing you, let's go, James! Let's go through the fourth wall, let's take our leave. This video's done now. This one's done. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was weird, and it's not like any of the other ones, because the other ones, like, sometimes they'll have an interjection from me, but for the most part, they're just kind of what they were. This one, I couldn't just leave it what it was, because it's not good, and there's no way to save it. But, yeah, this is done. This one's done. Let's go, James. Let's go!
I hate you.
I know you do. Let's go! Yeah!